What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So today here on Motorfest, I do want to talk about the gold part sets and are they really worth going after and grinding for them? And I also feel like they probably need a bigger use in the game overall because at the moment there's really not a big reason to have a gold set because let's be honest, there's not many things you can use them in. Now, we all do know there's going to be a good amount of sets. I mean, we have the Loot Digger like this one here. We're also going to have like the Nitro Chemist. We have the Score Breaker. We got the XP Magnet. We also have a Buck set and stuff like that. So there's a good amount. And there's also going to be the Live Reward Sniffer set on top of it. The only thing is, though, are these part sets really going to be worth going after? Like, are you guys really going to need all of them? Are they going to make a huge difference? Now, I am going to say right off the bat, though, if you are going to be racing and stuff, then yeah, a Nitro Chemist probably is great because it is basically going to give you double the overall, I guess you could say, nitrous that you get. But that's the thing, though. Here in Motorfest, though, the part sets are going to be different from the Crew 2, which in that game, it was basically going to give you like double the nitrous. In this game, though, looking at it right here, guys, heading over to the crafting recalibrate, you are going to notice on the set bonus for a 3 out of 7 increases by 25%. Then a full set is going to be a nitrous duration of 50%. So it's not going to be like the best overall bonus you are going to get, but it is going to help. And on certain events, you can definitely see a difference with it. Funny part is, I'm really thinking about in the future summits, I'm not even going to run gold part sets anymore, or like insanely random gold part sets. Like, for example, in the races, like instead of running a chemist set or something in every one of the races that are in the summits, I might instead start running something like a loot digger, like random gold parts and stuff, to show that you don't have to have a chemist set to get into platinum. I do feel like a lot of people probably base it on that, like, do I need a chemist set? But I feel like you probably don't even have to use one. On top of that, I'm also going to be showing you guys something with the score breaker set in this video because I do find this kind of hilarious. Like, yeah, you're going to have 100%. You are going to have a big bonus on the skills. But the big thing is, though, even running a regular set, though, let's say you don't have a score breaker, maybe you don't want to grind for it. Because keep in mind, for me, though, going after my chemist sets on all of these classes, I legit had to grind about 7+ hours on every single category to get a majority of these said sets. So yeah, it legit takes forever. Maybe you don't want to spend 6.5 hours of your life going after a part set. You might have better RNG than me and stuff like that. But the thing is, though, maybe you want to do some of the summits. Maybe you don't have a score breaker. I am also going to be showing you guys the difference of a score breaker compared to a regular, let's say, maybe a chemist set with having random skilled on every part, just to show you guys that it's still going to be possible. So spawning in here, the first one I am going to talk about is going to be the Nitro Chemist set here on the Skyline Black Panther Edition. Now, the first thing I do want to mention here, guys, I'm going to show you that we can probably all tell that Nitro Chemist is going to make a difference. But do keep in mind, though, if you were jumping on this game wondering if the Nitro Chemist in this game is as good as the Crew 2, well, that is unfortunately not going to be true. You definitely got more nitrous in that game. Not really sure why they did it on this one, maybe the smaller map and stuff, but either way, though, holding this down, guys, this is going to be with a chemist, so you can see how much nitrous you get. It is definitely going to make a difference there when you are using it, especially in summits. I mean, a lot of players are probably like, yo, how fast are you going to be on this event? Well, did you have a chemist? If you didn't, you are most likely going to be slower. But again, I am going to be doing some testing on this because I am also very curious to see how you can do in summits without using a chemist set and to really see, like, yeah, you're probably not going to be breaking records. That's most likely going to be obvious. But I would say a lot of players are probably wondering what they can do and if they can get into platinum. And y'all know what's funny, though, is they can easily make the overall part sets in the game probably a lot more useful. For example, maybe they can have like a week of like the different events, maybe having a chemist bonus on it. Maybe they can have like a loot digger to where you might get extra parts that week doing events in the playlist or something. Maybe they can have like an extra thing for like the XP magnet, maybe a bucks bonus. I feel like there's probably a lot more they can do with the part sets in the game. At the moment, though, and playing this a lot, I've been noticing that, well, about 95% of the part sets in the game are honestly pretty dang useless because there's not bonuses with them that are really going to benefit you outside of summits. Like, again, you do not have to run these in something like a playlist. You can't use them in grand races because They do not do absolutely anything in those. It's going to be the fair PvP thing for everybody instead of having like grand races based on part sets because you grinded 6 hours for a part set and there's not even a reason to use it. Funny part is, I legit put about 6+ hours almost or even more, probably around 10 hours into certain classes going after these part sets, and there is barely a reason to even use them. It's honestly a tad frustrating. The next thing I want to do here, speaking of all of that though, is now going to be with a score breaker set mixed in after that with a regular chemist that is going to have skilled on it to show you guys the differences that you can get with it. So let me see. I think it was rally rate I did it on. So okay, so here it is. This is going to be a pure and skilled build on this vehicle. Then we're also going to have a score breaker that is going to be skilled, and then it's going to be extra pump, frenetic, and all that stuff. Really not going to matter, but let me switch over to this vehicle here for a score breaker set. And then I want to also go over to a slalom here and show you the difference with a score breaker set compared to like a chemist only running skilled on it. And also do keep in mind, I will indeed have the legend points active. I never turn those off. So I would say keep that in mind if you guys are wondering, like, well, if you put those on, it might make a difference. But I always have all of these maxed out because, you know, I have maxed out legend points and, what else am I going to do with them? Am I right? But the slalom I was thinking about here, though, is going to be a regular one on the road. It's not going to be too crazy, like a lot of turns and stuff, basically here on this island. Let's spawn over to this, guys. I'll run this twice here with a score breaker and a chemist and show this right now, basically from a standstill to show you the points you can get. Now, I do admit, though, the only unfortunate part is currently when I am recording this, there's not going to be a summit I could show you guys the point difference that you would end up getting if you were going to be using something like a chemist or something like a score breaker. When a summit does come out again, though, I'm most likely not going to run any part sets, and I do want to see what I can actually get with like a random set like this or something that is going to be a chemist, which is skilled on it, instead of always having like a score breaker. Now, I did do some testing probably maybe it was like 5-6 months ago, and I think it was like maybe 4,000 or 5,000 point difference. And I would say that's probably not going to be that much, especially with the scoring in the summits. But I am curious to see what I can get when they do end up changing that, and I can jump in and we'll actually have a slalom there. Before that, though, I got 20,000 points. Let me jump back into here and go over to this and change it to that one. This is going to be the regular chemist set now with pure and skilled. Now let's see what I can get though. So you're most likely not going to be getting double the score in this one because it isn't going to be a score breaker set, but let's see what we can get real quick. And again, I am going to have to test this in a summit when it's probably going to be out. But I do remember back in the day though, I wasn't that insanely behind in getting something like a high score in it. So I'm really interested to see like, yo, do I have to have a score breaker? What if I didn't run a score breaker or a chemist set, no pro settings or anything on my vehicle? Can I still get in platinum? I think I'm going to do stuff like that to really mix it up. Probably make the summits more fun and stuff. Maybe trying to make it a tad more difficult, I guess. Because as of right now, I'm not really going insane. So right there, guys, I got around 14,000 points. That's going to be a 6 or actually around a little bit less than that compared to what I did get before. Now, what's funny, though, is the day after I did end up recording this, though, the summit did end up coming out with a slalom in it that was going to be a great way to test it. So I am going to show you guys the clips at the end of the video if you do want to check it out. Running the same rally raid vehicle, having a score breaker and a chemist to see the point difference. And I gotta admit, it really was a bit surprising. Now, the thing is, and the biggest reason why I did want to talk about this in a video is, well, I do feel like they really can add more stuff and bigger reasons to go after the part sets, because I really do not understand the biggest reason of going after most of them at the moment. I mean, yeah, you could probably get a buck set if you probably want to grind the playlist and all that, but you can't use something like a buck set in like a grand race. You can't use an XP magnet. None of those really are going to matter. I have made videos in the past, probably 6+ months ago. We all do know we're probably not going to have any of these things added into the game. I do know they're probably going to have the boosted playlist and all that, or like the boosted grand races. I'm sorry that I mentioned the playlist being boosted. That's probably not happening. But at least the Grand Race are going to probably have the 25% boost on XP and money and all that stuff. I really do wish they probably had other different ones in there to where you can have like an XP magnet set. Everybody can be running that or having like a buck so you get extra bonus money from it. It is not going to make a difference and stuff like that having a special game mode in there. Maybe they can even have one in there that's going to have the chemist sets being useful. Even like a loot digger thing or something like that to where you get extra parts that week. week in the playlist or even in grand races. I feel like there's a lot more they can do. At the moment when looking at some of these part sets going, man, I legit grinded 7, 8 hours, even 9 hours for some of these part sets, and well, I really do not have a reason to use any of them. Like, yeah, you're probably going to have something like the Summit to where a chemist really is going to make a big difference, which again, I will be probably doing some testing on that in the future, not running any of those sets, and seeing how you can still perform in there, having like no score breaker set. Like, yeah, having those in summits are going to be useful, but you're probably not going to be jumping into a summit with an XP magnet, a loot digger, a live reward sniffer. Like, I don't see anybody really doing that. So I really wish they would probably add something that makes the overall part sets probably more worth going after, and most likely make a lot of players probably want to use them because, yo, if I get the chemist, maybe I get like a bonus in the playlist or something running a full set or something. Maybe you can get like bonus XP or something having a full set. I don't know, man. Like, there really is so many different things they can do in this game, and I really do feel like to a certain extent some of this stuff really is basically falling into, like, I guess you could say, an abyss. And I feel like many of the overall potential and great things that can happen with TCM really do not seem to be overall really coming out. Kind of does frustrate me a bit because I do remember back in the Crew 2 having a part set. Grinding every part set really did feel so dang special. I used a lot of them, and you really saw such a big difference having every single one. You can also run part sets in PvP and stuff like that. You had a bunch of races you can do different things and all that. So yeah, it probably made a big difference there. But besides all of that though, I am curious to know what y'all think about this in the comments below. Do you guys also want to see more things, or at least better things, when it comes to the part sets? Do you also think we should probably have bigger reasons to grind after them instead of spending maybe 7, 8 hours on a part set to barely even use it? Really does not sound all that fun. And the biggest part is there is not a lot of places to use the said part set. So yeah, I can definitely see the frustration there. But do again let me know what y'all think about this in the comments below. And here is going to be the 2 clips back to back of me running that slalom in the summit, having a score breaker set with skill to fix it, and also a chemist set with the skill to fix it. And you can see the point differences running the exact same rally raid vehicle in this one. To be honest, I feel like it's pretty dang insane with the differences, but also it really wasn't that surprising.